Well, hello and welcome back to the Rewilded Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Lydia Joy. You guys, isn't May just the most delicious month? Oh, it's so good. There's just something about Taurus season that always delights me so deeply. Um, and it's just like allows that slow savoring. And there's just so much going on in nature. The smells of like the flowering things, trees and bushes. Oh my goodness. And the green right now is just so deeply green. And I honestly am in love with the birds and their singing and chirping. It's just the most soothing, amazing sound on earth. And the longer evenings, we waited all winter for this. And it's just so like we're just so in it, the softness after the winter. I have been soaking it up so much and really spending a lot of time outside in the yard, rewilding this little urban plot that I've got. And really getting into it, really connecting with the land and helping it restructurize and hanging out with the plants, growing more food this year than I did last year. And one of my favorite things to do is wake up, get my coffee, walk outside barefoot with my coffee and either a colander or a big bowl, and just wander the garden, observe what changed overnight, notice what's blooming, what's flourishing, if any mushrooms popped up. I have a mushroom patch. Decide what plant wants to become tea that day, decide what's, you know, prolific enough to harvest and eat that day. And right now, one of my herb plants in particular, like all of them are doing really well, but one in particularly that I want to talk about that's flourishing so well right now is lemon balm or Melissa officinalis. And that is what I want to talk about today, but not in the way you might expect, because I'm not just going to give you like a rundown of lemon balm's properties and call it a day. I want to go somewhere deeper with this. I want to talk about lemon balm through the lens of body-led living, through the lens of what it actually means to be in relationship with plants as a part of your healing. Because I genuinely believe, and I see this every single day in my client work, that one of the most powerful medicines available to us right now, it's not a new supplement stack or a trending wellness meme or thing or cutting edge protocol. It's really about returning to a more biological way of living. And I know that some people may think that sounds really romanticized, right? And, it's getting thrown around a lot more in like the circadian wellness circles, can feel a little vaguish to people. But I mean something very practical by it. I'm talking about alignment with the earth and all it provides us, including sunlight, the rhythm of nature, right? Throughout the seasons, throughout the year, what plants are available to us in the moment, right? How those plants access nutrients and minerals from the soil, right? And become our food, and how there's a seasonality of rest built into all of it, right? Being able to touch the earth and connect to the earth, even smelling living things, that there's some powerful science to the smells that we experience, right? Even the sounds of the birds. It is one of the most amazing nervous system things available, right? And we're all trying to buy gadgets and do complicated programs and all these things, right? Which they have their place, but they shouldn't be the thing that we lean on first, right? And only. And I think something about relearning how to connect with nature in this way, really helps us to soften again, right? Just to stand down from the hypervigilance that living in this modern society has created. So let's get into it. Now, the plant that I'm talking about today, lemon balm, I don't know how when I met lemon balm or how long I've known about it. I want to say 12 or more years. I can't remember when it first came onto my radar. It just sort of showed up in my herbal education and has kind of been walking beside me ever since, in an iterative way. And it's interesting because, for a long time I knew about it intellectually. I definitely used it here and there. I'd recommend it to clients. I have definitely had clients find it to be incredibly helpful. And I too would reach for it occasionally here and there over the years. But it wasn't until I actually started growing my own and living beside it that I really made a deeper connection to understanding what this plant is really all about. And to me, honestly, it's kind of like a philosophy in plant form, right? So Melissa officinalis lemon balm, it's a member of the mint family. It is a perennial. It's incredibly easy to grow and it's very generous. Um, it can spread. It's not as it doesn't spread like kind of mint would. Mint can be so, oh my word, mint can just take over, right? Um, and so can lemon balm, but it's less invasive, and it's to me, it's almost like it's saying there's enough calm for everyone here. The bees love it, it loves the bees. It smells bright and lemony and fresh and clean in a way that just immediately does something to your nervous system before you've even, like, done anything with it. One of my kids fell in love with lemon balm. I don't know, I guess he was in 2nd grade, and that was a while ago. Um, and he would like to collect it and hold it in his hand and sleep with it, um, because it just made him feel so relaxed. So I used to send him to bed with lemon balm sprigs, or we would dry it and put it in a little baggie and give him like a little lemon balm dream sleep pillow. I mean, he just loved it. And that's kind of, one of the ways that herbs can be helpful, especially when they have these amazing smells, is they just provide this lovely, calming, supportive effect. Now, herbally, lemon balm has affinities for a lot of systems in the body, right? The nervous system, obviously, but also digestion and the liver, the gallbladder, thyroid, even viral states, mood, sleep, stress recovery, and what I'd call like the stress digestion interface, the place where your gut and your nervous system, they're not actually separate systems, even though we tend to talk about them that way, right? When we isolate each system separately, right? And to me, that's part of what makes it such a beautifully holistic plant. When I have clients come to me, they've got all kinds of things going on, maybe bloating, cramping, nausea, or they have that what we call a nervous stomach, nervous gut, maybe tension in their digestion. I find that at some point when we can squeeze in something simple like lemon balm, it can be very relevant. And it's not because it's like a gut herb per se, but because so much digestive dysfunction is really rooted in nervous system dysregulation. So to me, it's like a very vagal plant. It acts on the whole stress digestion conversation simultaneously. Um, it's also, and I think this is important, it can be a tonic, which is not like this like acute intervention per se. We're not taking the plant. We're not saying take this for anxiety, right? Like a tonic is different. A tonic works slowly. It becomes a part of rhythm. And it really does improve your tone over time and gradually shifts like that baseline state. And that's very different from a symptom suppressor. And to me, that distinction matters a lot to how I think about herbalism in general. And when you can have an actual connection to the plant itself and utilize it as a tonic in your routine, there's something even more powerful and magical about that. Because you are now connecting to a rhythm that's very circadian, very nervous system oriented, right? So it's not just like, oh my God, I have to get my lemon balm and make it and take it. It's not that. It's like, okay, let me go out to the garden and even if you don't have a garden, a pot on your patio, like this stuff grows so well. Everyone probably has some little piece of ground they could put some lemon balm in, or maybe a neighbor's or in the woods that you walk by. Seriously, it's so easy. It's so prolific. And there's something about going and collecting it yourself that most people don't have the delight of experience to know how incredibly valuable that can be. So I highly encourage, after you listen to this episode, if you can, go get some lemon balm. If you were my neighbor, I would dig up some for you and send you home with it. So I want to go a little deeper because I think the energetics of any plant actually tell you a lot about how to work with them. And lemon balm has what I can only describe as like one of the friendliest personalities in the herbal world. It's very uplifting without overstimulating. And it's got this like calming effect, but like calming where it doesn't like flatten you out, right? It's very relaxing without disconnecting you from yourself. And the aromatic of it is so lovely. It's not um aggressive or anything like that. And it's very accessible. It's not a weak plant at all. And so to me, that combination is actually rare because there can be a lot of nervines that herbs that are, helpful, supportive to the nervous system, they can mean sedating. And when I say, calming and nerving, collectively, many people are using without knowing, like hops, for example, beer, like a lot of people drink beer to calm themselves in this culture, right? But that can be very like sedating, right? Make you sleepy. So this is not a sedating or heavy or sleepy or dampening or anything like that. It doesn't even take you out of yourself, right? It's really different. It feels more like it's kind of, to me, like it's restoring emotional permeability. Like it helps the nervous system breathe again. Like it reminds your body that it's allowed to soften, not by forcing it, but just by offering like that possibility so gently that the body just accepts. And you can laugh at me all you want if you want. Like I call it a happy plant. It makes me happy just smelling it. If you grow it, you will understand. It's very abundant, it's very forgiving, it's very bright, it's very beloved, and there's something about its energy that is genuinely cheerful. It's hopeful in a quiet, companionable way. Nothing loud and crazy about it. It's just consistently, generously there. Um, Astrologically, I love thinking about. I've been sitting with. I've kind of read into it a little bit about whether it's Jupiter or Ceres medicine. I don't know a whole lot about Ceres yet, but Jupiter is very expansive, and so for the uplift and expansion and perspective widening, I feel like it just like creates this generous spaciousness in the nervous system. And so that to me is really lovely. And then Ceres for the nourishment, like and seasonal rhythm. It's got like a caregiving quality that really helps with restoration after depletion. And it kind of just has this energy of like, yes, your nervous system can be nurtured and fed. That's lemon balm. So Um, I work with a lot of people who have been in chronic sympathetic dominance for years, sometimes decades. The kind of sustained, like low grade, maybe sometimes not so low grade, stress load that the body like eventually stops recognizing as stress and just starts treating as normal, right? Like it becomes like the baseline. And over time, the body adapts around that, right? It compensates. And those compensations show up as patterns in your digestion, in how your body's holding minerals and how that's affecting your physiology, right? Like your gut starts to have challenges, your hormones, even your tissue states throughout your body, just like the way the body holds itself entirely. And what I've learned over years of doing this work is that sometimes the most powerful thing I can offer a client is not complicated. It's not, okay, we need 5 more labs, right? It's not some crazy intense protocol. It's not the most trending supplement of the hour, right? Which there's too many of those anyways. And you come in overwhelmed thinking you got to do them all. You can feel pretty defeated before you start, right? Sometimes the most powerful thing is helping people to see that healing does not always arrive through intensity. In fact, it rarely does. Most of the time, when you've been in this long holding pattern, it arrives through simplicity, through softness, through delight. And I've genuinely watched clients experience shifts from something as seemingly small as growing one single herb in a pot on their kitchen windowsill and creating a daily ritual around it. Or like myself, walking out to the garden, harvesting it with their hands, taking the time to actually preserve it, dry it, make the tea very intentionally, sitting with it long enough to savor it and drink it. I don't think it's because I'm saying lemon balm is like a miracle plant. Okay. It's the act of doing the sensory engagement, the ritual, the slowing down, the receiving, all of that is nervous system medicine, right? And we tend to think we have to do something more therapeutic, right? Like in our logical mind, like, okay, I need this nutrient because I'm missing this and it's going to fix this, right? It's like, hold on. If the nervous system medicine is in a simple plant, holy moly, that's powerful to me, right? And I think before the tea even hits your body, just knowing it's coming can be powerful medicine, right? And this is the thing that modern wellness culture really struggles to metabolize. That's kind of a pun there, really, but we've reduced healing down to what supplement do I take? What pathogen do I kill? What symptom do I want to suppress? What protocol do I follow to fix X thing? Look, there is a place for all of that, and I do that work every single week with clients, right? However, the reductionist lens of that only gets you so far because humans are not just biochemical machines. We are sensory ecological beings, you guys. We regulate through smell, through rhythm, through touch, ritual, seasonality, sunlight, beauty, relationship, repetition, the land, the plants, and even community. And when those inputs disappear from our lives, which they largely have in modern life, our nervous system doesn't just get a little stressed. It literally reorganizes around the absence of all of that. And it starts running on urgency and stimulation and cortisol. And then even when you try to introduce something slow and gentle and nourishing, it doesn't register properly. It feels insufficient or silly or too slow or not intense enough. And honestly, that response tells me a lot. It tells us something very important. Because if your nervous system is so adapted to urgency that it can't slow down enough to receive the nourishment of something as simple as a plant growing in your yard, that is information. I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying that is a very important feedback to sit with. It's really telling us a lot about the level of stress our bodies have learned to carry as normal. Okay. And this is why you're probably going to hear me talk about the phrase, I'm going to say a phrase, body-led living. Okay. Body-led living, not wellness culture or optimization culture or, biohacking your way into a better version of yourself, right? All this, you know, I, anyways, I'm laughing because there's so many like things out there that I'm just like, wow, here we are. Body led living. This actually means listening and actually observing, even participating in relationship with your body, your environment, instead of just trying to research everything, manage everything, even unfortunately override things, or try to hurry up and optimize them from the outside. And I think plants are some of our greatest teachers for this because they don't rush. They're not like forcing any kind of agenda other than they grow when they grow. And when the conditions are great, they thrive, right? They respond to conditions. And then they always adapt. They root deeper. They move with the seasons, okay? And they also teach us a lot about receiving. And they also rest, right? They're not proliferating all year long, right? They're not like trying to become a better version of themselves by the end of the year, quarter four, moving into the new year. Yay, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of being silly here. So, to me, lemon balm especially feels like a reminder that healing doesn't have to come through intensity and that our nervous systems can still experience gentleness and, you know, that there's medicine in actually doing what I'm saying, like walk outside in the morning barefoot, touch a leaf, get in there, sniff it, or rub a leaf and then sniff your fingers and just breathe it in and listen to the birds just like for 5 minutes, and then actually make something with your hands, not like a package that you bought online that someone shipped to you, like that you have zero idea of where it came from, how it was grown. Like there's such a disconnect in that, you guys, like not having connection with the very things we're putting inside of our bodies, and then drinking tea, like sit there and hold it and savor it, right? Like it's not a box to check off. I did this. Okay, that's the thing I need to do to help my anxiety. No, it's so much more than that. And I think that moments like that they're not small. And I think modern humans drastically underestimate what repeated micro moments of sensory safety and pleasure actually do to physiology over time. Because about what's really happening when you build a life around simple things like that. Your circadian rhythm is getting real light signals, and your nervous system is receiving cues of safety. Your digestion is going to be functioning in a calmer internal environment. When you do that, that actually also helps to support your mineral balance, if you will, because it's supporting your systemic self, right? Your relationship with your body becomes more attentive, more trustworthy, and your baseline stress load can actually like decrease. And it's not just because of this one thing. It's because the conditions of your life are shifting to require less constant bracing. How many of us are even aware of how braced we really are? I don't think people are aware. And so this is all what I'm saying is like, that's changing your terrain. And that's what I want people to understand when I talk about body led living. I'm not saying throw away your supplements and your labs and your protocols. I'm not saying that. I help people with all of that. But those things land differently and they work differently inside a body that isn't just surviving, inside a life that actually has room for the kind of slow, sensory, relational nourishment human beings evolved inside of. That's the deeper medicine. And maybe that's why I love lemon balm so much, not just for what it does biochemically, though it does a lot. And the research on GABA modulation and cortisol response and digestive relaxation and even antiviral properties is really awesome and genuinely super fascinating and interesting. But because of what it actually represents, a plant, it shows up generously, spreads freely, smells like hope and sunshine. It asks pretty much nothing of you except that you slow down enough to notice it. And honestly, right now in the times we're living in, all the overwhelm, the overstimulation, the information saturation, disconnection, even grief, the pace of everything in modern world right now, I think we all need a little lemon balm. Not as a supplement or a protocol, just a reminder that our nervous systems can still soften and that healing can, you know, it can arrive just through simple delights. And that you and we were built for something gentler than this modern kind of shit show we're living in. I mean, you can look at it like a shit show, or you can step away from it and, you know, not have to be in that arena, right? So maybe that just starts with walking outside this week, finding something that's growing and just hanging out with it for a minute and see, like, what does that plant offer you in the moment? What does your body remember in the moment? Um anyway, so much more I could say, but I want to leave you with a few things today. Like lemon balm really is a beautiful plant. Grow it if you can, seriously. Make some tea with it. Smell it fresh in the morning. Use it as a tonic. That's a wonderful way to use it, where it's like you're um slowly, consistently, like, consuming it over a long period of time. It will support your nervous system and your digestion and your mood and your sleep, not as like a magic fix it instant pill, but it will actually give you way more than that. To me, the bigger medicine that I really want people to sit with is this. What would it mean to structure even a small part of your daily life in actual relationship with living things? And I'm not suggesting you do this as like productivity or optimization or something you track and measure, but as relationship, as a ritual and nourishment for yourself. Because the clients that I've watched shift the most deeply aren't always the ones with the most sophisticated protocols. They're often people who really learn how to slow down enough to actually receive and start to build lives where their nervous system has more room to breathe. And that's where healing is now going to have the conditions it needs to actually land. So that's the work underneath the work. And honestly, lemon balm is a pretty good place to start. So if today's episode resonated with you, I would genuinely love to hear from you. The first link in the show notes is a direct text link. You just hit that link, text me. So as soon as you're done listening, you can shoot me a message, tell me what landed, what you took away, whether you're going to go plant some lemon balm. I do read all of them, and it truly makes a difference to me. And you can also share this episode with someone you think needs to hear it. That is still the best way to support the show, and I truly mean that. And if you are curious about working together, whether maybe you're navigating specific gut health challenges, or you just feel really depleted, like exhausted, your sleep's constantly disrupted, you're just feeling like, "Man, I can't pull through. I'm hitting the wall on some things." Trying to recover your nervous system from your survival patterns. Maybe you have a long-term chronic issue in your body that I didn't say specifically, right? Because of the survival mode you've been in and you're ready to address it properly. You can check out the links below. I work with people in a really integrated way. We look at mineral status, we look at gut ecology, we get a baseline on what's your nervous system doing, where is it at, and lifestyle as one whole picture, not separate silos, because they're not separate. That's really the whole point. So I appreciate you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really love the plants. And, a couple years ago, I was talking more about plants specifically individually in episodes. And I want to bring that back because this is the time of year where I'm hanging out with them so much more and I just love them. So stay tuned for more, plant conversations woven into these future episodes. And until the next time, you guys, stay wild, stay well, and I'll be back real soon.